Okay guys, so I thought I would make this little bit of a video on the 150 Scoot Star moped, scooter, whatever you guys want to call it. I really have not made many videos at all with this bike. I mean, I've made a few, like of me driving it, I think, like one time. I really haven't made much videos with this little bike. And this bike has been pretty reliable, I gotta say. Like, I'm pretty impressed in this bike. For this bike, being a Chinese scooter, because this is not Japanese, and of course Japanese is definitely a lot more, just in general, more of a reliable bike. But yeah guys, I mean, this bike has been pretty reliable, so I just thought I'd do this video and just go over like all the maintenance stuff that I recommend for this bike. I just got done driving it. I'm just in the neighborhood right now. But anyway, guys, so there's a couple things that I want to go over with this bike. I've had this bike for not even a year. I got it last July. I'll show you guys how many miles it has. It has about 3,600. It's still chugging along. And I've heard some people say that, oh, you know, these bikes only last like not even 10,000 miles. I wouldn't listen to those people. As long as you maintenance the bike, as long as you do what you're supposed to do, which is what I'm going to go over here in a second. As long as you do what you're supposed to do, if you're mechanically inclined enough, I wouldn't worry about it. Most people who say that don't maintain their bike, and then they're jealous because they wish that they maintained it, and so they like to make other people worried, saying that the bike is not going to last long. But trust me, guys, if you guys maintain your bike, it will last longer than that. It should, at least, unless something weird happens. But, I mean, if you guys don't maintain it, then yeah, it probably won't last very long. But I maintain my bike, so, you know. So I'm just going to be going over everything. So, I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. So, I'd say the main things, my bad. The main thing, guys, with this bike is probably the oil. So if you come down here, here's your oil. This is where you check your oil. Now, I'm going to unscrew it here for you guys just to show you it. If you unscrew this, there's an oil reader. Now, whenever you check your oil, make sure whenever you check your oil, you're on flat ground like this. Don't check in your driveway unless your driveway's flat. So, whenever you check your oil level, as you can see right now, it's full. But whenever you check it, make sure that the oil is at least like halfway full. It's better to have it like completely full, but at least have it halfway up on those lines. If it's anywhere below half, my bad. If it's anywhere below half, guys, then that's kind of bad. I mean, it won't blow the engine up, but it's just not good for it. So always, I recommend, especially if you're driving like far and stuff, guys, I recommend checking your oil at least like a couple times a month, at least like two times a month, 3 times a month, because you know, you know, it's just, you know, you just don't want to be driving down and like you thinking that your oil's fine, but yet it be like really low, and then you have engine problems. So I'd say the main thing is just always checking your oil, you know, constantly. Or, you know, I'm not saying you have to check it like every day or anything, but, you know, just enough. And then I usually change my oil. I usually change my oil, guys, every like 600 miles, 650 miles. Sometimes I go like 700 miles, but usually I'm pretty consistent. I usually change it every like 600 miles. So I just changed it about like a week ago. So it's at 3,600. So I'll probably change it at like 4,200, 4,300. I think it's better, and this is just the way I like to do things. I usually like to change the oil right before like the oil gets black, because it's just better for the motor to change it sooner than later. You know, it's just not good if you wait till it's like super bad. That's just the way I think of it. Some people don't like to do it like that, but I just like to change it right before it gets too bad. And I also use, and it actually says right here to use 15W40, but I just run 10W40 I just run, geez, I'm stuttering a lot today, holy crap. I usually just run 10W40 full synthetic in these. You can run 15W40, there's nothing wrong with that. It's actually probably better to use that, just because it technically says to use it. So go by whatever your manual says. It's not a huge, like, the only reason I'm running 10W40 is because it's a lot easier to find, and I just prefer 10W40. But that's just me. So if you drive your bike a lot like I do, because I drive this bike like a lot, and so if you drive this bike a lot, like a couple hours a day, then I recommend changing the oil every like 600 miles at least. And but if you don't drive it a lot, like let's say if you only drive it like once every couple weeks, then you can wait like, I don't know, about 1,000 miles or a little bit more. But just always make sure that you're not running these engines, because these engines are air cooled, I think. So these engines get really hot really easily. Like, I'm serious, guys. Like, you could just be driving this thing up the street, like barely even drive it, and then the engine already gets pretty hot. I don't know why these motors do that, but these motors just get really, really hot. At least that's what I've noticed. It could just be my bike, but I just noticed that this motor gets hot really, really quick, really, really easily. And so that's pretty much about with the oil. It's pretty simple. And I'll show you guys where to drain your oil. That's where you need to drain your oil. Just take that out. And then there's a little, so that's where you have to drain your oil. And so that's pretty much it with the oil. Just make sure you change it, every like few hundred miles. You don't have to do every 600 miles, but that's what I recommend. And so that's pretty much it with the oil. Now the next thing, guys, because I don't want this video to get too long, the next thing, guys, is going to be your air filter. Right here is your air filter. Now, I just cleaned it today because it was getting somewhat dirty in this. It wasn't too dirty, but it was a little bit dirty. And so that's where your air filter is. You just unscrew all these, take this off, and then you'll see it right back there. And yeah, guys, I just cleaned it. I just soaked it in some water. You don't have to soak it. You can just spray it down, or even get like an air compressor and just blow it out. That sounds kind of weird, but anyway, guys, so you can just do that. So the air filter is pretty simple. You don't have to, you don't even really have to change your air filter. Like if you don't have the money, you can just do what I did and clean it. It's a lot easier. I was just being kind of lazy today. I didn't really feel like, fully messing with it. So I just decided to clean it. And so this bike's pretty simple, guys. Everything I said about the oil is the main thing, then the air filter. And then if you come down here, here's your gear oil. So right there, and keep in mind, guys, every single scooter is different. This is a 150 Race Star. So every single scooter is going to be designed a little bit differently. This is just for this one. So there's a bolt right here. You loosen that, and then the gear oil comes out. Now, you really do not need to change the gear oil very often at all on these bikes. Once you change it once, you really are set for like probably a while. Like I'd say like at least like close to a year. You really do not need to change it very often. It technically says in the manual to change it every other oil. It technically says, I'm pretty sure it says in the manual to change it every other oil time. So like every other time that you change the oil, it says to change the gear oil, but that's not necessary at all. Trust me, guys, I've already checked that. So I recommend changing the gear oil maybe every like 5,000 miles, 6,000 miles. You can honestly probably go even longer. It's really not something you need to just be changing much. Once you change it again, you're set for a very, very long time. And so, guys, that's pretty much it with these bikes. I'd say the oil is the main thing to keep this bike running good. Everything else is just, stuff, to do on the side. But the oil is definitely the main thing on this bikes. And also, guys, it's the top speed on this bike. I know it says 80, but the top speed on this bike, if you're going like full throttle, is like, I think I've gotten up to like 55, 56, maybe even a little bit faster. But don't be going past, so I'll show you guys here on the speedometer. So as you can see, once it reaches 50, that gets in the red. Make sure, guys, like let's say if like you're going on like a long drive or something and you look down at your speedometer and it says 50, do not, and listen to what I'm saying, guys, do not, once that orange thing goes like, once that thing goes in the red past 50, do not stay on the throttle. So if you're going 50, let off. Like, don't be staying at 50. I'm not saying you can't go close to 50. Like, you know, you can cruise at like 45, 48. But once that orange thing gets in the red, I'm not saying you can't go 50 at all. You know, it's fine to go 50, but I wouldn't stay in the red for more than like a couple minutes, because that can be kind of bad on your motor. So it's fine to cruise at like 45, 48, but once you get close to that red, it's really kind of, you know, just putting a lot of pressure on the motor. And these are not like big bikes, guys, so just kind of be careful with the speed. You know, these aren't the fastest bikes, so they're not really made for that. They're more made for like around town and stuff. You can take them on like bigger roads and stuff, but just be careful, you know. But yeah, guys, this bike has been really reliable. I've had like no issues with it. When I first got it, the main issues I've had was carburetor issues, but I already got that fixed. And I also had a coil issue right here, but they put a new one on there, because what was happening is the bike was starting, but it like kept wanting to die whenever I let off the gas, and I had to like keep restarting and stuff. But they put a new one on there. That was pretty simple. And also, guys, before I end this video, just always keep like a wrench with you or something, because I've noticed that these bolts right here for the exhaust, so like that bolt right there, just always keep a wrench with you, just in case you need to tighten, because like you do not want to be driving and this whole exhaust fall off. So just always keep something with you, like a wrench, in case you need to tighten those bolts. And also for the tires, you know, it's just always good just to be prepared, guys. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much the video. This bike's pretty simple. And again, guys, as I just stated, as long as you maintenance your bike, then you are good. So yeah, guys, just everything I said in the video, keep up on. Treat your bike right. It is Chinese though. This is not Japanese, so it's not going to be the most reliable. So, you know, because, you know, trust me, guys, like I take great care of this bike, and I have had some issues with it. Don't make yourself feel too bad with it. This is Chinese. So they're not going to be the most reliable at times, but this specific bike has been pretty good, especially for the price. You know, it's not too bad. So yeah, guys, that's going to be the video. Leave a like and be safe. And yeah, leave a like, subscribe, share, like a bye. Boom.